We're in.
Episode 5, we're in NBA playoff recap, AFL round recap, Magic round, NRL recap. I've got my man, Side. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Actually doing pretty good. It's a bit chilly in this house. I mean, even though the sun's beaming through the window, it's a bit
Yeah.
cold here.
Well, I've stepped up, as you can see. My
Where's your
sideway,
apartment located?
downtown East Mackay, the ghetto of actual Mackay, the shithole. I've just done some nice lighting around the area.
It's
Uh,
funny. So you've stolen that plant from IKEA,
I
and then
have.
you just got an LED strip from Bunnings, and you're good to go.
That actually is the alleyway behind me. This is a one
So
block
you just
apartment.
drag him straight through into it,
This is actually just the one room. That's it.
like those New York apartments that cost 2 grand a month to live in.
Pretty much. Those Japanese ones too, where they've got beds, one toilet.
They just fold it out, and then you
Mm.
got to bring the toilet out of the wall
That's
every time.
actually my bed, that S thing. I just pop it out. All
Yeah,
right,
well,
let's.
I've got sort of this is my penthouse in New York. Got so the kind
Yeah,
of vibe
you
that I've got here.
you built that brick by brick.
Yeah, the Instagram reels popped off, so I was able to afford the apartment.
You got beautiful bamboo on the shelf.
Yeah, handmade Australian oak, had it shipped.
Oh, I like that.
All right, we'll get into it. Let's start with your NRL. We'll breeze through the NRL and AFL because it's not been as exciting as the NBA
Yeah,
yet.
definitely. So we'll start off Friday night for the Magic round, where the Sharkies and the Eels. It was 28 to 18. Your boys got the win by 10.
Yeah, early on it felt like early on it felt like the Addo Carr show. He was turning it on for Parramatta, and we had no answers for him.
Yeah,
Um, but pretty much, apart from that late scare that they had when they scored 2 quick tries, I felt like we were in pretty much control for the whole game. Um,
yeah.
we dominated all the stats and possession and completion rate. Like I thought we were pretty good. So I felt like we sort of yeah were cruisy over the Parramatta Eels all night.
Well, I think pretty much everyone was confident with the Sharks. I think they might have had a bigger lead than 10 points throughout the game, but main thing is the Eels are dead last, which there's not really,
Yeah.
I don't know, what was it, 3 years ago they played in the grand final, and they haven't really found their feet since that grand final.
So
But
I'm just wondering, like, what happens there with like an Addo Carr situation? Obviously, had all the success with um, the Panthers, and then was
I
that a
don't
money
car
thing?
no, he was
He
a
was the Storm. He was the
yeah,
Storm. Sorry.
Storm.
So he had all that
Well,
success with the Storm. Was that more of a money, or he thought, well, they've just played in the grand final, it might be worth me going over?
well, he was at the Dogs before that, and he got pretty much the flick because he got tested positive for cocaine.
How
So they
many
really,
players though? How many players are in the NRL get done like
well,
that?
the whole, if you tested the whole team, everyone would come up positive. But yeah, he got pulled over by just a random breatho drug and alcohol, and
Oh,
he got caught positive, and then he kept saying he promised the club that he was clean. Second test, positive. So he kind of just got the old booted
writing on
from
the
his
wall.
club. So this is pretty much his last club, unless he wants to go to the Super League in England. But he's
Yeah.
finally finding form because he was injured at the Dogs. He did have a couple good games, but I don't think he played much Origin at the
No, no, I
Dogs.
didn't. Well, man, I didn't even know he was at the Dogs, so that's how well I was
But
going with that.
he's getting pretty downhill. But Eels have got the bloody Dolphins this week, so that's going to test them because the Dolphins are coming 14th. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, they need to be trying to look to try and get their one of their. Would it be their second win? Or are they winless
I
still?
think their second, yeah, their second win because they beat the
With the Dragons,
Dragons.
yep, that's right.
And then your Sharks have Manly, which would be interesting because they had the week off.
Yeah, which I mean we'll get into that with the announcement that came out today. But I
Yep.
mean I don't know how you
And
would even have a bye during Magic Round.
we'll get into the second game, or Friday night. Knights and Titans. They slapped
Domination
them. Absolutely slapped them.
dominated all the stats too.
What was
That's
it?
You wouldn't have even had to watch the KO mini.
Oh no, sorry,
Just
it was.
literally look at the.
I've accidentally skipped the game. It was actually uh, Friday was actually Knights and Rabbitohs, but there was another Thursday night. I actually forgot it was the Roosters and the Dolphins as well.
That's right. I forgot they did the double
I
header, didn't they?
completely forgot about that because I didn't really, I didn't really give two shits about this game. But it was also a domination, 36-26, another 10 point. I reckon that's what stuffed me up, the 10 point win.
Yeah, a
But yeah,
couple of multiple 10 pointers.
but yeah, not really much to say in this. Roosters had a, I think they had a bigger lead on this. Roosters are finally finding form. The only highlight out of this game is coming off the field and the Roosters telling Young, their winger, that he can leave if he wants.
Yeah, what's that about? So what? Like just straight after the game, they said he can just get on a
Well, he
bus and
didn't play. I think he played reserves.
so they've had enough.
Yep, and they've pretty much said if you want to go to a club, go. Uh, he averages a try a game, but I've got him in fantasy. Yeah, a try gets you. I know my fantasy means fuck all, but fantasy does show what he's doing in the game, and he's doing absolutely diddly squat.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are reports that he might go back to the Knights, but
When do they have a cutoff? Can he go there during this year?
yeah, he can go this
Yeah,
year. So it'd be interesting to see who picks him up, unless they keep him until the season ends. But
yeah,
it'd be interesting because Knights are coming 12th and the Roosters are coming 11th. So that will be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. How was your dad feeling about the Roosters? Was he happy that they got on the board? Was he happy with how they played?
He would have been stoked, I'm pretty sure. I haven't even asked him, to be honest with you. But he's happy when they get any win, at least a try at least. But 36 points, you should be happy with that.
I mean, glaze through the next three. The Knights slapped the Rabbitohs.
Yeah,
Warriors
pretty
Cowboys
much.
was a good game.
The Knights slapped the Rabbitohs 30-4. I guess the only story coming out of the Knights is that they could be getting young from the Roosters.
Mm.
That's what they're going for. Rabbitohs, on the other hand, I don't know what's going on with them. The 13th.
But a bit of a spiral. They actually started the year not
They
too
were in.
bad.
They were like fourth or fifth, and then they've
Yeah,
just gone to shit. But we'll just move on to the next. This game was good. Warriors and Cowboys. Cowboys have started winning again. I think they let the Warriors get too much of a lead, and that's how they obviously couldn't win. But the Warriors are now third, which is good to see. I always think it's good to see the Warriors in the top eight.
yeah. Interesting looking at all the stats and everything as well. When the tries were scored, they let they let the Warriors score really quickly in bunches.
Yeah,
So it's
like
like if you have a look, 6 minute, 11 minute, and then 22, 27, 39. At
yeah,
that point, then they just shut the game down. They just didn't even look to try and score. They just tried to stop the Cowboys from getting back into the game, which they almost
and they
did.
were coming close. Did
Oh
in
yeah,
Purdue, they were playing some good footy, and it was looking nice. I thought they were going to come back, but it
I mean
wasn't
they
enough
gave
at the
themselves
end.
plenty of time. They gave themselves 18 minutes to try and have one last crack. So
There.
it was a good effort by the Cowboys, but too good in the end.
Uh,
Cowboys dominant.
oh, we just missed one more actually. The Tigers and the Dragons,
Oh yeah,
34-28, a 6 point win. All I'll say about this one is the Tigers. Yeah, they're finally doing good. There was that big drama with Galvin, everything. The whole team chemistry doesn't want to be there. It's working. They're doing well. They're in the eight. Dragons. I reckon if you're a Dragons fan, I'd hate watching them. You don't know who's turning up each week. I could understand why Ben Hunt won it out. One week they're
yeah,
good, next week they're shit. It's
yeah.
just inconsistency.
The ebbs and flows of that team would be so frustrating to watch. I mean, imagine they're basically to me like the Fremantle
Yeah,
of the NRL. Come out
pretty
one week and
much.
dominate, and then they go out another and they look like shit.
Yeah. All
Um,
right, we'll go to my boys now. The
that was what I
doggies.
had in my notes. They were in control that whole game.
Yeah. The Bulldogs 38 to the Titans 18. I was actually nervous because we got flogged the week before. Didn't know what to expect. It was another wet game at Suncorp, so it was like the same conditions.
Yep.
But I think Titans, there was more in drama there with Big David Feeder getting dropped to the Rezzies, and now he could be getting sent somewhere else because I think he's just not cutting the mustard. because he's had
Yeah,
a
just
blowout with old Desi Hasler.
yeah,
Hasler?
and he doesn't seem as fit anymore for Peter.
Nah, and
He's
he's
he's got
not
those
Origin
5 minute bursts
quality.
and yeah, yeah, definitely not anymore. I mean, he's got those 5 minute bursts where he just looks unstoppable, but then yeah, besides that, it's not worth having him on the field.
But apart
Uh,
from that, my boys played out of their skins. We're playing. We proved, yeah, we lost, but we bounced back.
and so they should have made the Titans look shit, and they did. So then they got back to their good defense. I mean, apart
Yeah,
from those two sort of late quick tries in the second half,
yeah,
Bulldogs were all over them in all aspects of the field.
which was good. And then the next Sunday game, Panthers finally dominated the team, the Broncos, at their home field.
That was shocking.
They
I wouldn't have
finally
picked
showed
that.
some magic. Oh, there's a stage where it was 8-all
Yeah,
because Ben Hunt scored the first try in the ninth minute.
surely you have Nathan Cleary in your fantasy side.
He was, but I got rid of him. Injury prone. Can't trust him.
Right, so he hasn't been playing as much this year.
He always gets injured, so that's why I don't have him. I got
Okay.
Isaiah Yo is my captain, the
Yep.
big man. He gets heaps of ball and he always offloads. That's good points. But Cleary's, I'm not saying he's bad, but he's good to have, but he's always injured. So I just don't trust him in my fantasy.
And then you can see when he plays, he's still. I
When
mean,
he when he
not
plays
that it's
good, he's
necessarily
playing
hard to
good.
continually convert, but he got a couple of try assists and then scored one himself. He actually had a pretty good game.
Well, that's it. Look, Panthers of old kind of stop the questions of are they done?
Is he
Obviously,
washed?
that they went from 17th to 15th, so it's still early in the year. They can make the eight.
Yeah, they can make a run if they can stay on the park. I mean,
It's almost
the
like the
Broncos.
Swans did when they went 0-6 that year and they made the finals.
Yeah. Well, what's funny, I know that counts as an away game for the Broncos, but before that they were 3-1 at home.
There.
So good little win for the Panthers there. It's just if the Panthers can maintain sort of consistency,
Well, that's it.
um,
And the only problem will be Origin.
because they'll get a chunk of their
They,
guys taken out again.
yeah, they'll lose a few fellas, so that'll be a real tester. But that happens to majority of the good teams anyway.
And the NRL pretty much did what the AFL did as well and saved one of the better games for last. But
Yep.
they got the better game than what the AFL did.
Yeah, the Melbourne Storm 18 to the Canberra Raiders 20. That was This was a good game to watch.
You sat and watched the game.
No, I watched the first bit only because Brisbane started playing,
Yep.
but God, they played well. That Grant Anderson, friggin' Pappenhausen, it was just so good to watch.
Because
The
I
way,
mean, the way that when I sort of I only watched the first 20 minutes,
yeah,
because I had a dinner, but it was like right, the Storm are back. They came out and just were dominating, and then it showed the Raiders class when they actually. I come back and at half time it's even. I've gone, oh okay. So the Raiders are obviously well drilled because to turn that around halfway through the first half like they did was pretty impressive.
yeah, and I think his name's Falogo. God, he's a good player with the white head guard.
Yep.
He's just so explosive, and the line breaks, he was killing it. It was
Yeah.
the way the game started was like the Storm and Dolphins game. Their first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, they're playing so good. Like you think this is going to be a blowout. But then, obviously, it was wet and there was a few bit of controversy at the end with the penalty. But they stuck in Canberra and they're sitting second. So they're a team to not to mess with,
Well, your
that's for
eye
sure.
test went well for logo. You had 3 line breaks. So to have a player that can burst through like that is
Oh, he's a
unbelievable.
freak. He reminds me of like a Matty Bowen. He's so flashy. He's
Mm.
just quick. So I reckon he's the player to watch in the future. I don't know if he's an overseas lad that he'll be allowed to play Origin, but he'll be playing for whatever country he's from. I can
Yeah,
guarantee you that.
yeah, 100%.
And
So
then Manly had the bye.
yeah, I don't understand. So talk to us about that. What the changes are coming to that in the near future?
Well, it has been pretty much confirmed by the WA Premier that they have agreed with the NRL that there will be a team in Perth, and it will be the Bears. So it's pretty much confirmed now. So in 2 years' time, gather round, Magic round, we'll have an extra game. There'll be no bye, but it's good. The Bears are back. It's going to be. It's all like it's almost like this mob here, the Sonics, an old team that's got taken away due to financials. It almost is like the Sonics and Thunder because the Bears merged with Manly, and then Manly went back to their old name. So they pretty much just got
Yep.
burnt. And there's old history, and people have been fighting to keep their league alive. They're alive. And the cool thing is, they're going to also bring in the Western Reds, that team that got taken away too. So it's two. Well, one come in the 90s, one was back in 1908. But these two big clubs are back together. It'll be interesting to see how they go, but it's good to know that there's going to be a new team in 2 years, and then the next year after that there'll be a 19th. So then
A
Magic will go.
19th, so they've got to sort something out. I like what you're saying, sort of episode one. I reckon there's no point in bringing in the 19th and leaving that where you're
Yeah,
just having all the people complain about 17 teams.
they'll have to think about where's the next team.
Yeah, so I mean, you called it. You said that it was pretty much done and dusted, and then that's pretty much got all announced today. So the number one source.
And that's it. Side Hanson. But apart from that, the big outtake, we pretty much went over all the notes, but if you want to watch a good game, it has to be Dogs versus Raiders, 1 versus 2. You don't get that all the time.
Yep, exactly. And then hopefully it can be like a Raiders Storm game because yeah, back-to-back games showing some of the top teams. Let's hope it wasn't like the Gold Coast Brisbane game. That ended up being a little bit disappointing as
Yeah.
far as an AFL standpoint, but hopefully you can get like a finals preview at least.
Well, it's at 3 p.m. on a Saturday, which kind of sucks, but you wouldn't have known
Yeah,
they're going to be in the positions they are.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I always feel like, I mean, it's too hard logistically, but imagine if you could have a rolling fixture so you could always get them in prime time.
Yeah, that
It would
would
be
be nice.
unbelievable.
All
Right,
right.
should we get to the AFL?
AFL. Yep.
Wacky round. Some absolute blockbusters on Thursday and Friday. Essendon North and then Saints and Freo.
Well, your boys got up.
My boys got up. If we didn't have Zach Merritt, I don't know where the fuck we'd be, to be honest.
What do you
Like,
think
he
about
was
that win?
unbelievable. It's hard. It's
It's a
hard. I
gutsy
mean,
win, but it's a win.
North have been competitive, so they're not the full easy beats like they used to be.
Yeah.
But we were 5 goals up and in cruise control, and we just let them just get closer and closer and just edge back in, and it was just frustrating to watch. But the reason it's hard as well is because we had so many injuries, like Ridley gone, um, Harrison Jones ankle gone, um, and then we had Gresham as well hurt himself, so we were down to one on the bench. Um, and so to still be able to hold on was a massive effort. And
Yeah.
thank God for Zach Merritt, like I said. So took
Brownlow
the 4
favourite,
points.
mate.
I think he would be because we've won enough games early that he'd be sort of getting those 3 votes rather than we always lose, so he has to get
Well,
2.
he's standing out, so have to.
Exactly, and like yeah, him and Setterfield have been working well together. Like Setterfield gets in, gets under, and then dishes it out, and vice versa. So I'm so glad he's playing as well. Ben Hobbs is coming along. Um, so yeah, I'm still happy with the W for sure.
Well, you're
Um,
sitting at 11th, so that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a good spot to
well,
be for what you've
if
had.
if we had an adjusted ladder like the NBA, we should be sitting 8th because we've only lost 3 times because we haven't played Gold Coast like we were supposed to for opening round.
That is
So
true.
if we can just sort of maintain that form, not to say that we'll just make the 8, but I mean at least if we can hang around and be competitive, I'd be happy as a supporter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, Saints and Freo was a snooze fest. I just got
Boring.
Freo just rolled over and died like a dog.
That was,
Um,
yeah, that was a shit game no matter who you ask.
yeah, yeah. And Ross, the boss, he just old school St Kilda. They just couldn't score. Fremantle was shit.
Well, Cooper Sharman could.
Oh man, he was fucking nuts. That dude.
4 goals too.
Yeah.
Kind of made a
Um,
statement, showed who he is.
Yeah, especially against a pretty good defense. Like he was unbelievable in that second half. He looked like bloody Wayne Carey. The way he was sort of marking the ball and like he had a lot of disposals too for a big fella, so he was
Oh,
impressive.
absolutely.
Mitch Owens got back into form. I know Joe Ames kicked too, but he looks terrible lately. Like
Yeah.
actually terrible. I would be putting him back in the locker and letting him get some form.
Yeah, I honestly didn't give this game a sniff. I watched probably 5 minutes and I was like, I know how this game's going to be.
Yeah, if you're a casual, you're not watching it. I watched it because Rach goes for them, and what an eyesore. I wish I was blind for 2 hours, to be honest. Um,
Yeah,
Surprising result. These two, Carlton had been in some form, and the Crows absolutely blitzed them. I also did not see the Bulldogs absolutely annihilating Port.
well, I did say
Are
this
the
would be,
Bulldogs? Are your Bulldogs in your top four at the moment? You
you
reckon?
know, oh, now they are. They didn't have like Bonson Pally. They didn't have, who else they didn't have? There was a few that weren't there that have
Well, I
now
think
come in.
I think they had Adam Treloar on the Saturday rub, and he was actually good to listen to because it was like he just explained that they reckon it's actually helped having them injured. Because
That's who
like,
it
how
was,
good does Steve
Trelaw.
Richards look, and how good does like Matt Kennedy's in good form, and so is Bond, and then like young guys like Fraser and that come along. Like I actually really like this. I think they've got some real good players, and they're all just complementing, and they all look fully like they're invested
Or they're
in the
playing
game plan.
good footy, but what's happened to Port? 41 points. That's pretty shit.
Yeah, yeah. I think it goes into what you were going to say anyway, and what I was going to say. Like this succession plan's obviously there. Like Port look cooked. I don't even know like where they go. Like they're in
Well,
such a
I pretty much said the Port's window is shut under Ken.
yeah.
Yeah, next year when he's not there, 100%. But I don't think he's got the structure, the leadership, whatever you'd call it, to get these boys to finally win a prelim.
Does Zach Butters stay?
Well, they're not a shit team. They're superstars on and off the field. So if he was, I don't know if he's a Victorian lad or something. Geelong
He's a
looks
big
like,
country big.
yeah, I think Geelong's pretty interested, but no, it'd be interesting if I
I
was
mean,
him.
who's Geelong not interested in? That's the
Yeah,
problem.
if I was Butters, I would stay at Port. They've got a great side, and they've got heaps of good youngs coming up. They just need to get over this. It's almost like the monkey on the back.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering, like, how long do you stay? So, like, Rosie a bit hard, homegrown. Horn Francis, South Australian, homegrown. Ollie Wines is going to retire soon.
Yeah,
Um,
Broke obviously will rack
Boak
her
will
off.
obviously retire soon. But
Cal
then
Pepper,
you are super young. Like you've got
yeah, Georgiani's is
Cal
still pretty
Pepper,
young.
Farrell, Georgiades, Evans.
Burgoyne,
Like they're all really young. So it's like, what do you do?
Jones, yeah, they got young boys.
I think it's a
Um,
hard decision. And if you're
Sweet,
usually
yeah.
some people just stay for the money, but I don't know. Does he's going to get big big offers anyway? So what do you
Well, that's the
do?
thing. Geelong, yes, they're old heads, but they're getting a lot of young guys.
Yeah, and what I noticed with them, what they do really well is them constantly having those old heads allows them to play the guys in the VFL for sort of 2, 3, 4 years. They almost do like an apprenticeship,
Yeah.
and then they finally bring them through.
So yeah, there's a lot of question marks with Port. Will they make the eight? I reckon they'd scrape in maybe like an eighth, maybe.
Well, maybe I don't reckon they do. To be honest, I don't have them in there at all.
But the
I reckon they'll get
Dogs,
close.
I reckon Dogs are playing a prelim this year.
I think they hold prelim integrity for sure. They
But
have to.
back to the first one you mentioned, the Crows and the Blues, domination by 60 points.
It felt like the gather round game last time. They just jumped the gates and like half time the game felt like even though it was only
Well,
5
there was a
points, it
few
felt like it was
question
over.
marks around old Nicks because he played the old heads over the young,
Yep.
which is obviously always going to make people turn their heads because their time's up, but they stepped up.
They did. They did. Brody Smith actually had a really good game, and it was
They
kind of cool to see him get a goal because everyone that was one of the picks that they were all hammering him for.
Yeah, and he got to put some respect. Like he's a former friggin' All Australian for Christ's sake.
Yeah, yeah, for your club helped you get to a grand final as
Yeah,
well.
and
So
I know a lot of people. Yes, we want to see those young people like Draper and all that have a crack, but there's no flaw in this game. Honestly, he keeps his spot, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. I mean, based off that, I don't think he can get dropped. In saying that, though, I think like probably need to rest. Who have they got next week? Actually, that's
It's
what
a
I was thinking
showdown.
about. Here's the showdown. Do you reckon they can afford to rest Riley and Fogarty?
Nah, it's a showdown. You want your stars out. It's like
They
the grand. It's Adelaide's grand final.
they just look so sore. Like Riley's hand, he could barely mark a footy. And then like what I've liked about Fogarty lately is he's been throwing his weight around, but he just did not look interested with that shoulder at all.
Yeah, well, it's going to
So,
be a sold out game for sure.
oh, every time it is, and it will give finals like intensity.
Like this could be a close game. It could be one where Port blows Crows out. It's you know what the showdown's like.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do
There's
you
no
think
way
about
down the ladder.
the Blues?
For a
They're,
contested team, they get bashed around the contest.
I don't. Is Vossi done?
I don't know if he has enough around him anymore. Like it's Cripps, Walsh, Hewitt, and like that's it. It's the same thing every week. Like when we talk about Ports, I think Carlton are in the same sort of area. They've got some good top end, but they've just got a lot of young guys that just I don't know. They don't have the tier twos. It's just here and here.
Yeah,
So
you're either good or you're shit.
yeah, like I think Saad's done. Mitch McGowan's okay, but he doesn't look the same as he did in the
Salvani's
last couple of
done.
years. Haynes was off the scrap list, like GWS's scraps anyway. And then
Yeah.
like Doherty's cooked. Doherty's
Oh,
ready to retire.
he's a old lad. He's done his time.
Yeah.
He's
So
captain the
then without
side.
those guys that are supposed to be your depth players, it's all young blokes.
Because yeah, they got heaps of
Motlop's
young
the
boys
most that
that
he probably should
Motlop,
be playing.
the Coney,
Yeah. So it's,
Sarah. They got
I
a
think
lot of
they're in
good.
a hard. I think they're in a hard
Yeah,
spot. Like it sounds good on paper, and then they're just not putting it together. Is
because
that Boss's fault?
they played in the prelim 2 years ago.
I know. I know. They went on that Jeremy Lin run.
Yeah, and then
So
thank
then,
God they got stopped.
oh yeah, I could not have imagined if they were in the grand final.
Nah,
Like
God.
both your boys, when they were 5 goals down, I was a little bit unsure what was going to
Yeah,
happen with that.
I wasn't happy. I stopped watching. But almost yeah, the game of the round, the Pies and the Cats,
100% couldn't have scripted that.
the record.
Games in a row record holder with a shot to win it after the siren. That was unbelievable.
The only problem was he butchered the absolute shit
Did you
out.
see? Did you see his TikTok he put out through the week as well?
Yeah, that's good. At
Where
least
he was
he's got a bit
having
of
a laugh
humour.
about it.
It's
Slotted it too.
not the end of the world, but
Nah.
oh, I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't kick a
Couldn't miss
goal
that part to begin with.
in a goal square. There's a bit of history around that.
How's what I was impressed with as well is Brody Mychek was actually hurt in that last quarter, and some of the marks that he took to like try and will his side back into that game was unbelievable. I thought he was awesome.
No, he's an absolute freak. He wasn't a freak on Anzac Day because he wasn't there.
Yeah,
He barely touched the ball, but
yeah,
it was actually insane game. I think a game that needs to be highlighted. I think this dude he's gotten a bit cocky lately, but when you're good, you can be. Is Bailey Smith?
34 and a goal and like 700 meters game. Like he's actually damaging with the
Yeah,
football
it's
as well.
good because he's coming off that injury from the Dogs. Everyone was like, "Oh, what happened to him?" I know a lot of people were saying, "Where is he?" Ah, he's injured.
Yeah, like and he could have played in the second half of the season, but decided against it, which is a pretty big gamble on yourself.
Yeah, he's probably the fittest player in the league, honestly.
Oh man, like
That
they tried to send someone to him in the game, and I think De Goey tried to go with him for a little bit around stoppage, and he just worked so hard that De Goey was stuffed in 5 minutes. They had to get him off him.
Yeah. And then you got old red wine vintage Dangerfield. One
Mate,
goal,
he's
29 touches. He clutched up in that last quarter.
dude. I would love to have seen his last quarter stats. He was unbelievable in that last quarter. Like, it was actually scary. He basically just put them on his shoulders, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Because apart from Smith and obviously heaps of players played well for Geelong, but in those disposals, it just goes Smith Danger on 34-29, and the next Geelong player
Chasm,
is
21.
there.
And I'm pretty sure Danger had something like 14 in that last.
Yeah, I
So,
think it was something crazy. It was the
and that's
usuals for Collingwood, though. The two Dacos boys, Pendlebury, Sidebottom, Cameron.
Wouldn't it be nice that just every big game that your team's involved in, you just know what you're going to get from your A graders with
The
Collingwood?
way he plays and moves, obviously, I see the way he plays and moves a lot in Horn Francis. The
They do.
way their balance is on the field is insane. Like sprinting, the way they kick the footy, it looks the same.
Just the pure power that they both
It's
have as
power.
halves.
Like it's something that you got to have. You can't. Oh, I guess you could somehow, but that's a
Yeah,
gift.
that needs to be genetics. Like, you can't just, like, I mean, you can train for power, but not like that. Like,
Yeah,
did you
it's
see that slow
explosive
video
power.
they put up where he just bursted through and took, like, cannon into that Collingwood guy? He just bounced off
Yeah,
him. Like, unbelievable.
absolutely insane. But it was a good finish. There was obviously a few controversial calls with the holding the balls and all that, but you're going to get that at the end of the day because the free kick count was obviously 14 to Pies, Cats 21, which
Yeah.
people don't cry about. But also, Pies had 18 marks inside the 50 when the Cats had like 9 or something.
Yeah, so, I mean, Geelong play that way a little bit anyway. Like, really, they've only got Cameron, so, and
Yeah,
Hill. But besides that, like, that just shows, like, close manner. It was a gun, I'm not sure manner. Close manner. Myers obviously still out with concussion, but, like, those small guys are just whippets.
yeah.
Hard to stop on the floor, the Cats. So you can tell the two different game styles of your
Well,
marking players that Collingwood have.
because the Pies had
Really good.
27 shots off 53 entries, and then you had the Cats of 25 of 47. So you had some pretty.
Like, 50% shot rate is pretty.
Yeah,
That's
you have
elite.
Pies of 51, you have Cats of 53. So it was a proper good game.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. That was like, I hope we see that in the finals again, because that felt like
Yeah.
a final. That was unbelievable.
And then the way to deflate your sad day, Eagles and the Demons. I guess the Demons played good. That's the
I'm
main
glad they
thing.
had that on at the same time, so I didn't realise it was going
Yeah,
on. Demons were good, back on the winners list, I'll take that. I mean, it's not gone masterclass, but other than that, there's not too much to talk
not
about.
not much too much in it. To be honest, I've actually tipped the Eagles to beat Richmond this week. I've
Okay.
just like I was thinking, can they go without a win? But I reckon it's possible because well, we're almost about to get into the Richmond game, but they're not showing much fight since round one.
Nah, no,
Oh,
it's what was
yeah,
expected. I mean, they had that good win against Gold Coast, which, I mean, it's going to happen maybe once or twice more this year, where
yeah,
they just come out and the young guys just play well. Like when we were on that pretty bad Victor side, when we just had those games where we played relatively well every blue
yeah.
moon.
That's it.
Um,
Australian to Sunday. Uh,
we can
I
gloss
rec-
over that.
Sydney had
Despite
a.
being
It was
14
like
points,
30. It was like a 30 to nil game at one stage.
yeah,
It
it
took
was a, it was a
7 minutes,
bizarre
5 minutes before the Giants could actually score a behind or something. It was the Giants have no one to blame but themselves by giving them such a good lead.
What I found weird about this game is, despite past that first 5 goals and the game seeming relatively close, Sydney just felt in control the whole time.
Yeah. Well, at
They
halftime
never
though,
felt threatened.
halftime's like a 6-4 point game, so
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were back in
it
at
seemed
half.
close. And then it was just always 2 or 3 goals, 2 or 3 goals, 2 or 3 goals.
It's
And
just
Yeah, it was just bizarre to watch.
Big question mark on the Giants because everyone was like, oh, top four. They were looking good too, and now they're just in the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah, and we'll get to that at the end as well because it's something we both wanted to talk about. But like, yeah, oh, I just kind of felt like they were going to be top four already, and they're just not there at this stage. The Giants.
Yeah,
I think they're focusing so much on their way running forward that they're just leaving themselves exposed behind.
yeah,
They all well and good to sort of transition like that, the way that they are, but yeah, it's too easy to go down the other end against them at the moment.
yeah. But we're
Also,
going
this one,
the
centenary
Hawks
celebration for the Hawks,
and
and they
the
shit it in.
Tigers.
The what now?
109. I made sure I said that before I
Yeah,
said it.
very loud.
The Tigers, the Tigers, 109 to 44, so a 65-point slap on the Chigs. Yeah, and
That's
it's
about
good.
it, really.
That's really it. Hawks are playing the way they should be. This whole hawk ball thing where they're playing quick and fast, going to the wizard.
Yep, he was good
The
again.
Chol is playing good up forward.
Yep.
And then even Gunston, I think he kicked his 500th, which is,
Yeah, he did. He's 501 now, so that's good on him. He's had a fantastic career. I thought he
yeah.
got out cooked a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, he didn't. He wasn't getting picked for Brisbane,
Yeah,
but
well,
that
that ended up
age,
being
I
a bit of a
guess.
mistake, that one.
Yeah, but at least he's back in good spirits. Um, yeah, we'll skip on to next. My Lions and the Suns. I was a bit nervous about this one,
Yeah,
but
okay. I just thought that because it was at home that Brisbane would sort of flex a little bit, and that sort of ended up proving the point.
well, it was almost. This is a bit stupid, but that pre-season game where we were beating them by like 18 points or something, and then they come back and beat us by like 4 or something, 3 points,
Yep.
I think it was. But well, I reckon the man of the moment was, I think, Charlie Cameron. Hadn't kicked a goal in 3 games, and he comes out and kicks four.
Yeah, and he looked good too, and he looked potent, and he probably, I mean, the game was done, so whatever, but
Yeah,
I
all you
think they were a
needed
bit
was,
selfish there at the end, not giving probably some handballs that he should have, but
yeah. Well, everyone played good. Dunkley was really,
mate,
he almost should have won the medal. He
yeah,
was more
Dunkley's really
influence, even though the
been
Ashcroft
slipping now.
boys had like 34 and the other one had 28 or something. They were, Dunkley pretty much was the most efficient in my eyes on that field for wet weather
And
footy.
he did the job on Rao and
Yeah,
forced Gold Coast into a plan B, plan C, plan D, and like without Rao getting it inside first, Noah Anderson doesn't get in space, so like Noah Anderson all of a sudden becomes more of a handballer than a gains and kicking the footy.
yeah.
Um, it just sort of changes their whole complexion. They probably, I mean, they did it in the second half, but the game was probably a bit done. They threw Took Miller back on the ball, and he again racked up some handballs, but Brisbane pressure was just way too good. They
Oh,
were
Brisbane
unbelievable.
stayed strong and got the 17 points and the 4 points, and we're luckily got to finish the round on top.
Yeah, yeah. Where they probably deserve as well. Like a little bit interesting, obviously, from last year where they started the year quite slow. Almost seemed like a I don't know how you explain it, a grand final hangover.
Or
Um,
you see it by heaps of teams. Like you've seen it from Freo when they made the grand final and lost. They were the favourites and they didn't make it the next year. Crows are a perfect example. They haven't been in the final since.
yep.
It was almost like one of those moments were coming. Then obviously the miracle happened, but this year they've started off like the premiers.
Yeah, they've been they've been fantastic. They I think they're trying to go as hard as they can for a repeat.
Pretty much. Like,
Um, Lockie Neal's not getting any younger.
nah, neither is Zorko. He's a massive. He's changed his career
He was
by,
about done.
yeah,
I felt.
he was injured. Now he's got that half back roll, back pocket roll, and he's just killing
So
it.
what happens with Kitty Coleman and Zorko? Do they coexist?
100% you stick Kitty back in.
Who are you getting rid of at the moment? You can't get rid of Fletcher. He's playing well.
Well, Kitty, oh, Coleman's got to go through VFL before anything.
So
Uh,
he played VFL on the weekend. He got like near 30 touches, I think.
I think, well, this week we've got North Melbourne, so it could be a game where you just say, "Hey Zork,
Do you want to rest?
let's rest ya. Let's put Coleman back in.
So
Let's see ya."
here's Coleman's game in the VFL. 28 disposals, 10 marks, 24 kicks, 130 fantasy points.
So he's fit. He's ready.
He's ready. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, if you're the Lions, you probably go, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, then you got in the VFL that Fiore, whatever his name is, he got
Man,
47.
fair or any. Like, and this is
That's
the
it.
thing.
He's been averaging like over 35 and can't get a game.
Yeah, but it's like, Gold Coast just sort of have that one. They just do the same thing in the midfield there. So, like, they've got to mix it up and play a guy like Fiore, surely.
Well, you'd think. I keep saying it's one of the best midfields right now is Gold Coast.
Mm,
They got
yeah.
they got the youngest, probably fittest in the league, I reckon, with Rao, Anderson, Miller.
Yeah, which is almost their kryptonite because they can just keep going.
Yeah,
So
they
do they
can.
mix it up and throw other bodies in there?
You don't even have to go for the ball. You just let Rao get the hard work and you just go on the outside.
He's nuts. I love watching him play footy.
That's
He's
what
so
happens
hard.
when you eat grass, mate.
Yeah. And he does his earthing, where he puts his
Yeah,
feet on the ground.
good man, good man.
All right, the main topic. Should we get into this NBA round two?
I want to quickly bring up someone. Jamal Ugelhagen. Get rid of him?
Yeah, gone.
Fuck him off.
Get rid of his
I
contract.
reckon. I'm sick of it.
See how quickly he wants to play footy all of a sudden when he doesn't have 800 grand a year going
And
into
that's
his
it.
pocket.
You won't be posing at a gym.
Yeah, like you're doing work and you're just not
Yeah,
doing work. He's
I'm
trying to
sick
set
of
up
him.
an acai bar.
I'm act- I'm actually sick of him. If you're in the AFL, you're an AFL player, buddy. It's your job. If I don't show up because I'm, let's say, not mentally well, physically well, yeah, they'll look after me for a bit, but it gets long enough, I'm gonna get fired. That's
Yeah,
how.
and especially if you're not proving that you're doing anything to get better.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, he just seems
and
so
yeah,
far removed from that footy club.
I think he
Another
needs
one
to
that's a
be
bit
gone.
controversial. What are you doing with Willie Rioli this week? Are you dropping him?
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
You don't go out making death threats to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You banter, but you don't threaten anyone. I saw highlights from that game. I think it might have been Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to bring up. So he, obviously, with what happened with Bailey Dale on the weekend, started all of this.
Mm.
But did you see the one from last year where they sort of exposed what would have happened with the Cats game? Where a nice guy like Jeremy Cameron, he was ready to go. I've
Yeah,
never seen Jeremy
he was.
Cameron like that.
You see him talk, and then he revs up and tries to grab him.
Yeah, and goes back for like seconds and thirds.
So I
So
think that's your footage there.
that's your footage
But
there.
you
I'm
can't go
interested
death
to see.
threat making. Or not, I don't know if it was a death threat, but you can't make any threat to a player.
Well, he
Like,
kind of made a bit of a sort of a almost a death threat to Bailey Dale. Like, don't leave your hotel. I know people.
oh god,
Like that's
just
full on.
fuck off, mate. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. So he can have a spell. He can stay in Adelaide for a little while. I reckon. William just playing the twos.
Yeah, I think so. It's just noise that the AFL doesn't need. Neither does Port Adelaide.
What do you think of these Ashcroft boys? Lastly, you
No,
get to watch them and enjoy them. They're your team.
mate, they're beautiful to watch, mate. For someone that's coming off an ACL and carving up like that, and then you got his younger brother in his first year getting 29 in the Q
Like,
Clash.
think of how good they are. That is a premiership side, and he's dominating in that team.
I don't even think their dad was that crazy good, was he?
He was
He
an
was good.
athlete. He
He
was
was good.
good, apparently, and he was a part of their three-peat side. So you've obviously got to be a good footy
And
player
I
to
guess
hold
the
your
medal
score in
is
that.
named after him, but I guess it makes it more because there's two of them.
Yeah, and to see the Gold Coast guys apparently get stuck in a wheel in the pre-season saying he didn't deserve the norm, and he just gives them one of these and just wins the medal against them in the Q Clash. I thought that was
Yeah,
awesome.
no, I reckon it's a bright future. I've heard a bit of. I do agree with Floydie how maybe this father-son has kind of stuffed up the draft, but it's the rule you can't get rid of, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Yeah, look at the Pies. Imagine
It
if Josh
it
Dacos was
it's
playing for
it
Saints
is
and
so rare that you
they're
got
that good.
the Dacosses and the Ashcrofts. You have two sons, and they just so happen to be absolute freaks. We've never seen that. We've had two brothers, but we've never seen
But
them.
like, would they be complaining if it was 2012 when the Brisbane was shit and then the Ashcroft boys go and play there?
No, they wouldn't. It's because
No.
they're the premiers and they got one of the best players
Yeah,
in the
that's the only
draft.
reason. But like, look how bad it can turn in the other side of it. Like it was supposed to be, oh look at Eagle Hayden going to this good dog side. What's
Yeah,
happened there?
yeah. I reckon. Yeah, back to him. He needs to go because the Dogs are in such a good situation right
Mm,
now, and I'm
mm.
kind of glad when they kind of talk about it. They just don't want to talk about it because they don't need to.
No, no, it's done. That's done. He just needs to go.
But
Do we even
that,
have time? Should we do a separate NBA pod almost? We've
I
got
reckon
time
we.
to do NBA.
Yeah, we got time. We
Like,
definitely got time. We got 30 minutes, mate.
yeah,
We do
true.
it.
We can bust that out.
We'll breeze over the what's occurred, mate.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. So, round one recap. The Knicks survived. Now, what's crazy about that series to me, as well as all these role players played and coaching changes and team changes and players missing with injury, it literally just came down to Jalen Brunson was better than Cade Cunningham.
Yeah,
That was
it, it,
literally it.
he
I
showed
watched
his.
I
He
watched
showed
both
what he was
series. It
made
was in the
of.
balance. Jalen Brunson made shot after shot, and Cade kept missing layups, and that was the game. So, like, Cade'll
Kay's going to
have
bounce
his,
back.
but I mean, we've already just seen what Jalen Brunson's done in this round too. He's like looking like he's out for revenge. That man.
Well, Ananobi's the other second man who needs to be getting his flowers. Because when we start talking about that Boston game, he was what dropped 22 in that game. Well, Hart and Towns both got 13 and 10. So if it wasn't for OG and Jalen, would have got smashed.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. He's been unbelievable so far as well.
Because the way he ended that,
And
yeah, he hit the
intercepts as
three,
well.
but that crossover was insane.
Oh, to set up the space in the first place was just absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
I felt. Um, Warriors and
Nugs in
Rockets, that reminded me of the sort of 2017-18 days.
there. It does suck for Houston. I think they need to be looking for Jalen Green because he had one good game.
What do you do? What do you do with him? If you're the Houston GM, what do you do?
I think it's almost a situation where you got to sit him down really and be like, we need more from you. Like you're
And
not like we're paying like obviously yes, Star's gonna have a shit game, but you need to be like we need more from you. This
yeah,
off season, don't go holidaying. I want to see those clips in the YMCA gym,
yeah,
Planet Fitness.
grinding.
Yeah, just grind, man, because the team's still good to bounce back where they are.
Mm.
Oh, Van Fleet's played well. Even what's his face, bloody
Shangoon was good.
Shangoon played really. He's going to be a problem. They just need that
Baby
bit of
Jokic. Yeah,
out of him. And that
look,
twin
the
brother
problem
played
is,
really well.
yeah, Thompson was fantastic in that
Yeah,
series. He'll just be a demon, man. If he could develop a jump shot, look out.
yeah,
Like,
because
he'll be insane.
he got 12, 5, and 3
Yeah,
in 32 minutes. Someone
but
like him, he should be doing more.
it's his defensive impact. He was still guarded Steph really, really well as well. Um, and he'll be unbelievable once he gets a jump shot. I reckon he'll be fine.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I reckon I've almost seen enough of Jalen Green if I'm Houston. I reckon they try and
yeah,
pull
bounce him
themselves
off.
together and bounce him off. I reckon.
See where he can end up. And
Speaking of
then
guys that'll be leaving, should we touch on quickly Giannis to the Lakers maybe?
yeah, what do you know about that? I've only seen snippets.
So, from what I've seen all over Twitter, is he's got Miami, the Knicks, or the Lakers. There is three prime destinations if they're to move off. Um,
I reckon he
so
should go to New York. When you go
I
to a
reckon,
team that's playing well,
Now, my only thing with that is you
Luca.
then have to get up you have to get off Cat's contract
Mm.
to get a Giannis in. So you've just got Cat there. Do you ship him off again?
Oh, it would be hard trying to
So
do that.
I think Miami or the Lakers are the ones that can make it work. But
Well, even
yeah, that's
Miami
going to be
could
interesting.
could even get Jar.
Yeah, yeah,
I only
imagine.
saw that in a little mock-up thing, but
Yeah,
it's a possibility.
I wonder how they defend if it's Jar and then Tyler Hero on the floor together though.
Yeah, that is true.
Like,
What?
so that makes it tough.
Yeah. Apart from Giannis, what about the deflation from the Clippers in Game 7? Wasn't really
Classic, classic
looked
James
like
Harden.
they weren't really a threat.
They just look like they ran out of legs. They look like they had nothing to give in that last game, and almost like they were already thinking about OKC
Yeah,
and
Cancun.
didn't do anything in the end. They just threw this little weak ass
Yeah,
jab, and that was it. They were absolutely cooked.
Nuggets are coming in firing because
Yeah,
the
Nuggets.
for me the player of the whole playoffs right now is Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, him and Tyrese Halliburton are just fighting. How many game winners can they hit?
Yeah,
Like
pretty
those two have
much.
been crazy.
And I liked
Um,
in Gordon's press conference today, or it might have been the other day. He said he's busting his ass to try and get Westbrook a ring.
yeah, yeah, like one of those dudes, like
Yeah,
unbelievable. And then Jokic in his interview post game as well, saying he's the best teammate he's had,
but
which is
James
unbelievable.
Harden was there for. I know he got bloody 13 assists, but he got 7 points.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
No,
was it a game plan probably to try and just get him passing rather than taking shots? But he just had
no,
no rhythm at
just
all.
I think yeah, he won't get that ring. I don't reckon his career's over, in my
Well,
opinion.
he probably needs to try and get himself a six-man role. He can't start. I
Yeah,
think
back to
moving
the
forward.
six. Should we go into game 1 and 2 of the Pacers and Cavs?
Yeah, we'll talk about all the round two matchups now. So let's cover those two off.
Well,
Game
just
one was crazy
well,
um,
firstly,
for
there's
one
that
reason.
toe injury. I forget his name.
Garland.
Garland, that's it. Yeah, he's broken his toe or something. He's fractured it maybe,
Yeah.
but it's keeping him out, which isn't good. And today they had three people out. That
Yeah,
bloke,
so
defensive player of the year.
losing DeAndre Hunter and then Evan Mobley is obviously horrible. Um, but you can just see what it does to their sort of spacing. Having a guy like Hunter that can score off the ball and cut and drive, I don't know, they had to rely on a lot more jump shooting tonight, and it cooked them. Like Ty Jerome, 1 for 14.
Yeah,
Max Strus, 8 of 18. Like, besides literally just Donovan Mitchell and then Jarrett in the lane, they had nothing from the field. Um, and that was the difference because, like, Indiana shot 5 less shots but made 5 more. So there's a 10 basket swing in field goals alone.
hmm.
Um, and the Cavs had the home court advantage with the free throws today, like 35 to 29
Yeah.
free throws.
We'll go into today's game. They had this game in the bag.
So I had a cheeky bet that I wanted Indiana plus 5.5 as a part of the multi. And I saw they were down by 20. And I'm like, well, that's cooked. There's no chance. And then they just wheeled themselves back into the game. Um,
Donovan Mitchell's dropped 33 and then 48. He's busting his ass.
oh, yeah. He's just. That was the surest thing ever, 35 points for him today. Like, you just know he was just going to come out and just give it everything to try and even up that series without his two big boys on the floor as well.
He's doing his best, but you got Naismith dropping 23. That man's underrated.
Yeah, yeah. And apart from Part, look at their starting lineup field goal percentage: 61, 62,
Yeah,
63, and 47. Like, it's this is what we said would be the difference. Like Indiana's jump shotting at the moment is just unbelievable. They are so efficient.
Well, even
It's
that
crazy.
last play, they're missing their big man because he missed that free throw. The box out was not
Where
good
was it?
enough.
Yeah, yeah. So um, that I just we'll just recap that last 2 minutes because that was probably the most insane thing. You could probably only recap 47 seconds. Like that's where it all flipped. Did
Yeah,
you watch it?
no, I was working actually.
So I saw that. So 47 seconds. They check if there was a foul. It was. Indiana go to the line. It is then 119 to 104. Um, sorry, 119 to 114.
Yep.
Ball goes down. Um, and then Indiana calls a turnover, go back down. Pascal Siakam scores a layup, 119-116. Timeout. Cleveland go to inbound the ball. They throw it straight to Indiana again. Indiana go down. Tyrese Halliburton does a little dance, gets to the line, scores the first one, 119-117. Deliberately misses, gets his own rebound, dribble move, step back from the top of the key and just drills it with a second to go, 120-119. It was the most unbelievable game
No,
that I think I've seen.
Cavs had no timeout.
No time out, they cooked it.
They had
They
to heave
cooked it
it.
on that last play, and then the guy inbounded it straight to Indiana. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah,
Um,
so they're up 2-0, heading back home.
what the one I've got in my notes is if you're Cleveland and you're potentially getting Evan Mobley and Hunter back, are you still worried?
No, I wouldn't be worried. Remember when the Suns were up 2-0 against the Bucks and they knuckled up and won four straight?
Exactly.
2-0, 2-0, you're pretty safe. Lots of teams can bounce back from 2-0.
I, I think you would just be drilling we're a 68 win team for a reason,
Yeah, it'd
and
pretty
you're
much
going to
be
stick to
let's
that game style.
just win that quarter, quarter by quarter.
Yep.
And then once you get that, obviously momentum's a big factor. I've played many sports where I've had a big lead and you choke it. You just need to switch on in that last, like, D up.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just realise it's like it's only one or two possessions, but if you can stay switched on
No,
for just that little bit longer, then yeah, you'll win the ball game. So
no.
I'm still thinking that goes 7.
I
Um,
reckon the Cavs can come back. Oh, I'm gonna go 6.
you reckon Cavs in 6? You reckon they're just going to win 4 straight?
Yeah,
That would
I
be
reckon they
nuts if
can
that
do it.
happens. You should put a bet on that
I don't gamble anymore.
then. um,
Talking about chokes, Boston.
yeah. Now your boys, the Knicks, they were unbelievable in that second half, and
Well,
I
we
don't think
started
I've seen
off
worse basketball than the Boston Celtics did in that second
first
half.
quarter. I watched pieces because I was at work. I was able to watch the last quarter, but in that first half, we were actually relatively close. We're up at certain stages, and then I think when we got to like 42, 45, I think that was the third quarter, well, Boston played good basketball, and we
So
just gave up this massive lead.
watching that second half back, OG Anunoby, we were talking about it before, but he hit
He
those.
stepped up. He was a fast break man in that second half.
Yeah, he hit those two threes at the start of the quarter in the space of about 30 seconds. That all of a sudden it's 20 and looks like it could be a blowout to like it's 14 and it's kind of competitive.
Yeah,
And then his second half, like he hit that sidestep three with not long to go to bring it back to 1 point as well. Um, and then Mikal Bridges, who didn't have a lot of good shots inside the paint, drilled that three at the end of the game as well. Like they just stepped up.
well, people forget OG. I'm pretty sure he hit a massive buzzer beater in the bubble for the Raptors
He
when they
did.
had like literally a second left in the pocket,
Yeah.
and he just
So
absolutely the man can shoot.
now I've got here in my notes that the two J's were absolutely terrible.
I'm
Jalen
pretty
and
sure
Jason.
they were like 1 from 10 or
So
1 from
Jalen
8
Brown
from
was
the
1
third.
from 10 from 3, and Jason Tatum I saw at one point was 4 for 8. I think he finished, sorry, 3 for 8. He finished 4 of 15. from 3.
Well, congratulations, Boston. You broke the record for the
For the most
most
misses
missed
from 3.
three in
It was
NBA.
terrible.
Was it history or just?
History.
Oh,
So,
it is scary that they've had those shots though. If they hit them, we are struggling. But you could almost say kudos to our defense. But is it also a reason that is it yes, it was normal, and then the momentum's changing, so they're panic shooting from three?
and some of it was panic shooting. So, Jason Tatum, when he drove the lane in the second half, they got wide open threes
Yeah,
because he just drew so much attention. I watched in the last like 2 or 3 minutes. They were getting switches onto Jalen Brunson. He's 6'10" on a 6'1" guy, and he's doing pull up, step back threes. Like,
yeah.
why? Like, just use your body, use your frame. Like, they were just playing into the Knicks' hands, and
Even the
Jalen Brunson's
overtime,
just a killer.
his shots were just you
No,
almost. It was like you're watching it. You're like, he's gonna go for a three. You could just see it. It was like
could you
create
imagine
space
watching
or
them?
get it
Like, it just
wide.
seems like he tries to clip farm every single
Yeah,
time.
like it's obviously we won one game, so yes, anything can happen. But if we lose it from here, I'm happy we got one win.
You got one. Game 3 is the big one. Game 3 can be that buzzsaw. You know that the garden's going to be
Back
loud.
at the
So
Garden, you've seen what the fans are like. Or even Bridges, he played 51 minutes.
yeah, yeah,
Then yes, he had 8 points, but his defense was insane, and he hit a massive three in overtime.
yeah. He hit two. Like, he hit two massive threes. One in overtime, but also that one um, sort of just before the end of the game that put him up.
And you got that
Before
fast
Drew got that
break.
layup.
The ball was going out. He jumps out, scoops it back in. Even with their last possession, he stole the ball
Yeah, yeah,
for
whipped
Boston.
it, and you just need those sort of winning type plays. So he was awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
probably also when we talk about unbelievable, Denver versus OKC. My God.
I think that's almost a bit of a choke by OKC. I'm just going to cut straight to the mustard to the last minute. Uh, Jokic was subbed off and might
Not
have,
even last minute. This is 10 seconds to go.
and decided to foul straight away. Even the commentators were a bit blown away. It's like they should have let them run the ball up, try pass it to someone where they get the foul. But I reckon that was
So
crucial.
the game plan was clear. There was about 30 seconds to go, and they just kept holding on to a 3 point lead, and they just kept insta fouling.
Yeah,
So that they'd go to the line, hit their 2 free throws, you're still up by 1. They get fouled, go to the free throw line, get back up by 3. When there's 10 seconds to go, and they've got to run it the length of the court, and you don't have Jokic on the floor, pretty sure I would just live with them getting it across halfway and calling a timeout and maybe having 5 seconds left,
yeah.
or just putting up a prayer. If
Well,
they tie the
Jokic,
game,
yeah,
then it's like, cool, let's regather, we've got overtime, it's all good.
yeah. Well,
To play it
Jokic
out the way they
dropping
did was horrible.
42, 22 is insane
Mate,
in
that was one of the
itself.
best playoff games I've ever seen someone play.
But
Like, he just wheeled them.
if there's one person that's gonna beat themselves up, it's Chet Holmgren.
Mate, he did it last year. I think he did it last year. I can't remember the series, but he missed 2 clutch free throws, and they ended up losing that game. So it's not the first time that he's sort of choked at the line. And
This,
that was sort of going to be what my point was. Like, at some point offensively, Jalen Williams has got to step up. Like,
yeah,
5 of 20 from the field. He was just not great at all.
yeah, that's disgusting.
Um, look, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Chet, 4 blocks. Shea, 2 steals, a block. Alex Caruso, 5 steals, 2 blocks. Like, defense is never a question with OKC, but like, overall they shoot 42% from the field. Like, you just got to
Yeah,
get better than that.
I don't think
Um,
there's no panic stations in Oklahoma.
Look, at the end of the day, I still wouldn't be surprised if they win the next 4.
They lost the game to a fast break 3-pointer.
And if we be honest, how many times is Russell Westbrook probably going to shoot 54% from the field?
Yeah, he's
Probably
past
not often.
those. Yeah,
So I think they'll be okay. Michael Porter Jr. looks disinterested. I can't see him being at the Nuggets next year.
Yeah,
That like the rest of the starters were plus 12, plus 15, plus 10, plus 16. Michael Porter Jr. was a minus 15,
yikes.
so he was ugly.
They're still,
Um,
I reckon they're still a house on fire. Like, I reckon they should go to 7.
yeah, okay. I just would not be surprised if it's 5 or 6 to OKC. I still think they get the
Yeah,
job done
I
pretty
think
easy.
I just think OKC make it. I just think, yeah, they had
Clean up
that
some of
game
these
and,
coaching errors and they'll be fine.
yeah, they had the game in the bag. They just, last 5 minute lockdown didn't really work.
Now, one of the ugliest games I've literally ever seen.
Did you watch this one?
I watched. This was on the TVs at work today. The Golden
Yeah.
State Minnesota game one. No one, and I mean no one, could basically on the walls. This is hit water if they fell out of a boat.
Well, I think they also got a record for,
It might have been most missed in a row or something
yeah,
like that.
some of
Oh well,
those
no,
one.
because Houston missed all those ones back in 2018. But
I think it might be the most missed shots or something
it was just
bizarre.
disgusting. They 5 of 29 from three compared
Yeah,
to the Warriors 18 of 42. Like
I've
that's the
almost got.
game right there.
It almost makes you think if we'll talk about Steph's hamstring, could the Warriors go all the way? Is the dynasty still alive?
I can't see it happening. That's a strain. If they want to try and rush him back, they've got game 5 or game 6 in
No.
about 12 days' time.
There's this
So,
young lad I like on this team. It's bloody that Podzinski or something.
Pajemski,
Yeah, the curly-headed lad. I like the way he plays. He's cool.
he's got. I mean, he didn't shoot the ball that well today. Like,
No, he only got what 3 points, but the way he's playing the series before this,
yeah, his defense is really good, and he
yeah,
usually has a really good shot. To get 8 rebounds as a small guard as well, like I thought he was still very impressive.
yeah.
Um,
Well, playoff Jimmy's arrived.
Playoff Jimmy's arrived. His defense is just grinding it out. Like he nearly got a triple double. Draymond
Wait,
Green put the
he
backpack
stepped
on.
up. Yeah, backpack on
He
after.
was he was 4 from 5 at halftime in threes.
Yeah,
So he was nuts early. Gary Payton, don't know if he continually hits 2 for 3 from 3 points, but that'll be interesting.
and then the man Buddy Hield.
Yeah, like he's got weird stats. He shot 2 for 11 from inside 2 point range, but then
Yeah,
5 for 8 from three.
he's finally coming into his shell pretty well because when he was at Sacramento, he was a bit.
And when he was
Is
at the Pacers, he was hit and miss as well.
is he gonna be the star? But I think he's in the right system.
Yep.
He's always been in his draft. The year he got drafted, they were saying he's a 3 point shooter. That's what he wants. And now he's in a team that shoots him.
Yep. Yep. And he's got what he wanted, and he just has the green light and the confidence. Like he was the highest plus minus on the floor tonight. He was pretty
Yeah,
much the difference. So how do you
but
see the rest of this series playing out?
I want Wolves to win, but I think Warriors are going to edge them out.
Yep. Yep.
I think they've
100%.
got too much experience and star power with Jimmy now. I think it's just Edwards and Need by themselves, really. No, McDaniels, but phew, who else are you going to pick on that roster that's going to put their hand up?
Well,
Mike
Greenwood
Conley?
shot 40% for the series, and he didn't hit a three. McDaniels shot the ball well. He didn't hit a three.
Mike Conley played 21 minutes and didn't even get a point.
Yeah, he almost put up a
He
what
was
was it, quadruple zero.
he was lucky to get a board and 5 assists, but yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
played them off
nothing.
before. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting now with no Steph. I think that's the big thing. Um, can can the Timberwolves win the next two to get it back to 2-1, and then potentially once Steph comes back for a game 4 or 5 is like yeah, with no Steph back in Golden State,
Well,
if
that's
Minnesota can get one of those games back, I think it's game on. It could go to 7.
yeah. Well, don't expect Draymond to be playing consistent. It's going to come
Not
down to
offensively.
it's going
Yeah,
to come down to Jimmy scoring big. We know he can. I'm not. He is older, but he's proven in playoffs he'll step up.
Well, I think you just end up flipping Pods and Draymond. Like, I can see Pods having a 6 of 13 game
Yeah,
and shooting 18 points. I'm
but
not seeing Draymond do it for the rest of the series.
I also feel like Buddy Hield's going to have an Andrew Wiggins type of playoffs.
Yeah,
Shoot
yeah.
out of his skin and just play the way he was drafted to be.
Well, they need it now. They
Not
need it big time,
100%.
especially with no Steph. So, no, good luck to him. I hope that he sort of. This has been a long time coming for Buddy. He was good on Oklahoma, obviously, and
Oh,
he
absolutely.
was an NCAA riser, but he's never had that opportunity. I feel so.
Now he's
Uh,
on the
I'm
big stage.
I'm pretty keen. I'm pretty keen to see how he goes for the rest of the playoffs.
Well, definitely. Well, tomorrow we got the Knicks in Boston again and Nugs and Thunder. So we'll
I'm going
talk
to be
about
honest.
those soon.
I would not be surprised if both of those are 15 plus points.
Yeah,
Boston
just
win and
big,
OKC win big.
big turnarounds because you still look, Knicks and bloody Denver are paying $5 too,
Yeah,
like five
yeah,
dollars twenty, and you got both OKC and Boston paying $1.18.
yeah. Because I think the bookies would just know, like,
It's
the
not going
Knicks
to be
and Denver, they've got their games.
well. It was the first time in history that the underdogs
Yeah,
all
we
won,
talked about that today. Yeah, all the away teams won their games, which is
and
nuts.
they always say it's not a series until the away team either wins on the opposition's court or
Exactly, exactly. So no, I think it'll be some easy wins tomorrow. You could probably load the house up
yeah.
tomorrow,
I'm not feeling too confident. I'm even repping the boys, mate.
mate. Hey,
Good luck, Charm.
that's vintage if you got a 1970s hat. All right, well that is all for today. We
It
we just
is.
seem to keep getting around these hour 10s, hour 12s when we do all of this, which is good.
It works out good.
Works out perfect. But thank you all for listening, and we'll be back soon.
Yep. I hope you enjoyed. Catches.